What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of SerieAddicts as a part of the We Kick Balls channel. My
Yep.
name is Marco Romano, and today joining me I have
Tito Jansante in the house. What's up, Marco?
Tito Yansante.
Marcos.
Doing well, my friend. Excited, looking forward to this new Serie A season. That's what we're here to talk about. Here to give you guys a preview, give you guys our opinion, give some predictions, talk about some trending topics, right? Hopefully, hear about it from some of you in the comment section. Feel free to comment down below. We definitely want to hear your feedback, want to hear your thoughts about any topics that we cover. So please add a comment and please like and subscribe as well. Tito, what do we have on the agenda for today to kick things off?
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about the upcoming Serie A title race. We're gonna talk about the favorite teams, our favorites. We're gonna talk about the teams that got newly promoted or anything that we wanna call out from this season's Serie A.
That sounds awesome. Starting off with the big boys, right? As far as
Yeah.
the what the top of the table is going to look like this season, probably not going to surprise anyone with our opinions. At least on my side, I feel that it's more than likely going to be a three-horse race. And for any fans of any other clubs, if you feel differently, let us know. But for me, I see at the top of the table, when it's all said and done, I see a three-way battle between Inter, Juventus, and Napoli. That's just my opinion based on where things stand today. A lot can happen in the course of a season. All teams, for a change now, are going to be playing a lot of tournaments, a lot of games, especially Napoli, who didn't participate in the Champions League. Right, had a little bit more chance to rest some players, but that's neither here or there. I'm just a little bit salty because they ended up winning that season.
Yeah, that's true.
Gotta give them props. They had an amazing season last year. Congrats to Conte. Congrats to all the players. Well deserved. Not here to take anything away from Napoli at all.
They did do
But
a good
kicking
job.
things off, right? Looking at those big three, I'll give you right the option to start. Uh,
I see.
I'm
I start by disagreeing on who the big three are because honestly, I think Napoli's having a great market, but they just lost Lukaku to injury,
true,
and
true.
I feel like he is a very important part of how Antonio Conte plays. Milan, on the other hand, are getting a lot of structure from signing Max Allegri, who I know is not a manager that a lot of people like because of the way that he sets up his teams to play. That kind of like if we are 1-0 ahead, we're just going to start defending now. But I feel like he might have a chance of getting Milan into maybe one of the top three. Uh, I don't know about Juve, to be honest, either, because right now it looks like they're missing a couple of pieces. They've been looking good in the preseason, but I feel like they're missing like a strong defensive presence in the midfield, or maybe like a better two-way player. They're putting Cup Miners in there right now. I'm not sure that's gonna hold up the entire season. And then they have Locatelli, McKennie, and Turam, who's gonna definitely be a starter, but who's gonna be next to Turam, we don't really know. So out of those big three, I have to disagree on who the big three are, but I guess let's look at each team individually. I would start honestly with Inter, who's probably everybody's favorite.
I don't know about favorites, right? I think Napoli maybe a little bit ahead. Maybe they took a hit to your point with Lukaku going down. I agree that he's definitely a fundamental part of that team and Conte's playing style. He was at Inter. There's a reason why he brought him over to Inter. There's a reason why he brought him to Napoli. Right?
Yep.
It's that kind of player. His just hold up game and being able to distribute the ball and create attacking opportunities is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, at doing that specific thing
Yeah.
on the pitch. They made some good signings, I think, but also seeing a few of the folks that have left, especially I'm thinking of Raspadori. I know he was key for them in a lot of matches last season. So it'd be interesting to see them go without one of the young Italian players that usually got them out of trouble, especially with Lukaku being down. I think there's 2 weeks left in the market as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Napoli did go out and get a high quality center forward. It wouldn't be hard to convince them in joining the Italian champions who just signed Kevin De Bruyne have one of the best coaches in football right now,
Yeah,
right? To join that cause and hopefully right win a starting position right off the bat with the championship team. So Napoli is going to certainly be interesting. But going back to Inter, for me, my main concern, especially as an Interista, is the fact that they have done nothing defensively. Right? They're talking about maybe getting rid of Benjamin Pavard, which at this point, which how long is left in the market, and from the names that have been thrown out there, I think it would be a huge mistake,
I agree.
especially considering that the only option that we would have is Darmian, who I consider a jack of all trades, but a master in none. Especially offensively, right? Offensively, whenever Dumfries is out, Inter struggle quite a bit. That was probably why we ended up losing the title last season, because Dumfries was out for a certain period of time and crucial time for the team. And when he came back is when Inter actually had those runs with Barcelona in the Champions League and in the Serie A. So he's definitely fundamental. But again, it's getting rid of Pavard would be a mistake in my opinion. But still, really with Kiwu coming in, I haven't seen a real change in their style of play. It seems like they're still following Inzaghi's style. The last match they played, it was essentially the same starting 11. That was Inzaghi's go-to starting 11 whenever
Same
everybody
formation
was healthy.
with the three center backs.
Same formation. The only switch that he made was instead of Shalanolu, we have Sucic his start, which I think he's going to be an incredible addition. Probably the best signing Inter have made this in this market, in my opinion. I think he's going to contribute right off the bat and potentially even start right off the bat at Inter, which is says a lot for a player his age. And granted, with some professional experience, but not at this level.
I know we're not talking about the Mercato yet, but well, how do you feel that Lookman situation is gonna end up developing?
Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I thought when we were in negotiations with them regarding Zelensky, that was going to open a little bit better communication between both parties as far as getting the Lookman deal wrapped up. It seems like Inter now are playing a little bit of hardball and saying that they're going to be walking away and looking at other alternatives. It's tough for Atalanta, knowing what they just went through with the player not wanting to join the team for training. Right, that's obviously is going to create a little bit of friction in the locker room, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a bit of a
so
repeat
it's
of
going to be hard.
the Coke Minor situation last year with Juventus. Is a similar type of deal. In the end, towards the end of the market, like towards the closing of the market, that deal was finally done. So I think maybe in this case it could be a similar situation unless Atalanta get really pissed and they're like, we're gonna ship you off to Saudi Arabia or something.
Which you can't blame him, because probably the money they will get in return would be a lot more than what any Serie A club is willing to pay for him.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, I'm a little bit less concerned now, because another great signing was the addition of Boni,
Yeah.
which has surprised me a lot in what I've seen of him thus far. I gotta admit, I didn't see him play a lot with Parma, but I saw a lot of the highlights, and you could tell that he's definitely very skilled. But for me, what I saw that Lookman was definitely gonna bring to the table that Inter have been lacking for the past 5, 6, 7 years is somebody that can take on consistently defenders one on one and is an amazing finisher. I saw and know now that Bonnie does have that creativity that can take players one on one easily and beat them, and he's a lot more physical than Lukman as well. He's a lot bigger, a lot stronger. Is the finishing there? Is it as good as Lukman? I would say at this point,
Probably not.
maybe not. But depth, which Lukman would add a little bit more from an attacking standpoint. But I think Bonnie has the opportunity to develop into that type of player, and contribute to the team in this season right off the bat.
Yeah, I think from a physical perspective, they're very different players, right? Like Bonnie plays a little bit closer to goal. Lukman plays a little bit more away. He's more of like a dribbler and like a technical type player. Bonnie is more of like a physical type player, which like he's faster and stronger than most people he comes up against, and that's how he's beating them. Lukman is also fast and strong, but more, I think he's more skilled with the ball at his feet. Has a little bit more in the back belt, as far as like weapons to take people on. But it'll be interesting to see how that ends up developing, right? Because if you think about it, Lukman coming to Inter whilst Lautaro's still there creates an interesting dynamic in terms of like who, like him, Turam, Lautaro, Boni, like what's that rotation gonna look like? How much playing time is Boni actually
I
gonna
think
get?
at Inter, if you can count on anything, is that Lautaro is the guy. He's always the first option. He's always going to be the first option
If
as
he's
long as he's
healthy,
there and
because
play.
he does miss quite some games, right? Like,
True, but that's why it's good that you now have some quality replacements. Because last season it was lacking a little bit. We got a little bit of contribution from Arnautovic. We got a little bit of contribution from some of the other strikers, right? But like Taremi, especially with his assist to beat Barcelona in the Champions League final. But other than that, he didn't add a lot to the team. He didn't bring a lot to the table. So now having not only Boni, but having Pio Esposito, which is another, I think, similar to Juventus, it's probably one of the best additions that they'll have this season, is somebody that actually they owned, but didn't play for them last season, which for Inter, I feel that's Pio Esposito. I think he's going to do great. I think, obviously, Kibu has coached him before. He knows his playing style. I
yeah,
think the players around him, um, really are going to help him like ramp up a lot faster than he would have if it would have gone to any other team as
yeah,
far as getting to that top level quality. And I think we'll talk about Lukaku and his hold up play. I think from what I've seen thus far from him, he has those same type of qualities. He's as good in holding the ball up, distributing, being that pivot, so the offense can get into gear, right, and players can find their space. He's also pretty good at finishing, so he's going to be an interesting one as well. But from Juventus standpoint, right, Bremer, I feel if Juventus had Bremer last season, probably would have been a lot closer,
Thiago
right, to
Motta
the
might
top
still be
two
the
in the
coach.
table. But
Thiago Motta might still be
maybe,
the coach if Bremer was healthy. A lot of people don't want
yeah.
to say that, but it's the reality of things. Like, it might have been that with Bremer healthy, we wouldn't have had 13 draws in the first, 20 games or whatever. It's just not. I don't think it would have happened. Like those stupid goals that we used to let in, that Juventus used to let in all the time, is not. It is not something that happens typically when Bremer is healthy and playing. But shall we move on from Inter, or are we going to have an entire episode for Inter, or do we wanna
Hey,
talk
if you let me drive,
about?
I could talk about Inter for days.
I'm sure you
We can always
can.
find a topic.
If we're talking about title favorites, right? It's gotta be like, I think Inter lost a little bit of the title favorite thing when they lost Inzaghi, but honestly, I don't think the strength of that team was Inzaghi. In when it comes to Napoli though, I think that Conte is definitely a strength of that team. I don't think Napoli would win anything with a different coach, if I'm being honest, right? Because he kind of built that team for what he wants to do. And that's why I feel that losing Lukaku probably for the rest of the year at least is going to be very hurtful for Antonio Conte's style of play, because that, like you mentioned earlier, that's a player he's wanted everywhere he's been, right?
Yep.
Because of the way that he can allow the team to come up. That's what they do. Like, you stand with your back to the goal and you hold off defenders and you keep the ball, and that gives your team a chance to run up. You give them the ball again and you can make stuff happen. But there's not a lot of players like that around anymore, right? Like, if you look at world football, that big nine, number nine, that stands like in the top of the box, basically at the edge, with a center back on his back, and can receive the ball. Like Lukaku is an example. Fernando Llorente was an example at Juve when he used to play. It's that type of player. I don't think Juventus, since Fernando Llorente, I don't think Juventus has had a player like that can actually play with his back to the goal and hold up the ball. Um, and I think that hurt Allegri a lot when he was playing. He used to use other types of tactics, like a big guy like Mandzukic on the left to kind of make up for that. But Napoli, without Lukaku, what does that look like? Who's starting at striker for them in place of Lukaku? I guess that's gonna be the question. Are they gonna make a move in the market to replace Lukaku, or is Napoli? I mean, how do you replace Lukaku even? Like, who do you have?
Obviously, they don't have anybody with his traits, right?
Right?
And be able to play hold up like him. To your point, there's barely any players, period, that can have that quality,
Yeah.
right? So it's gonna be a different style. They have to do something in the market. I wouldn't be surprised again with the last 2 weeks left here if they go after a striker.
Yeah.
If in fact Lukaku is going to be out and for an extended period of time at that. Um, but in the meantime, right, I could easily see McTominay, them pushing McTominay forward,
I
right? They
mean,
just got De Bruyne.
they just bought Luca too. Like, they have Luca. They have. I don't. Politano can't do that. Noah Lang is not gonna do that. Uh, you know. So I don't know. McTominay is gonna play in the midfield. Um, what is Conte gonna
Yeah, but
do?
you could move McTominay up, right? You could have your midfield um, probably going to be De Bruyne, um, Sambuanguisa for sure. Sambuanguisa is going to start, and then
I
you can
don't know.
bring you could bring another strong, solid midfielder.
It's McTominay. It's McTominay, De Bruyne, and Sambangiza if he's playing three like that. So, like, I don't know who's
I don't know
gonna.
because what hurts the most is probably in just a week ago that player would have been Raspadori, right? To
Right.
slide in.
But I mean, but it's still a different type of player, right? Raspadori is like a short striker,
Yeah, yeah.
like he
No,
plays off of the nine.
nobody's gonna be able to fill in for Lukaku that allow them to play the same style that they're used to playing when he's on the pitch.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. Their defense is still
They
gonna
have
be
they have to
solid,
switch styles.
right? They have the all-star Italian team defense. Buongiorno,
Mm-hmm.
Spinazzola, Di Lorenzo. Um, they signed Gutierrez, who's a really good player, really good left back, very very talented. Um, so I think they got stronger when it comes to the defensive line, and then in the midfield, obviously KDB is a huge addition in terms of like the quality, but I'm
Listen,
concerned
you want to
about.
solve the problem? Can solve one of Juventus's problem as well. They can get Vlahovic.
I don't think that's gonna happen. That I wouldn't be. You know why I don't think it's gonna happen is because if I know Conte knows that Vlahovic is not a Lukaku type striker. Vlahovic is a striker who would do really well in a two striker setup. You know where he would do great? At Inter with Lautaro playing beside him. You know, if you play with two up front, one of them Lautaro, the other one's Vlahovic, that would be a great combo. Vlahovic is left footed. He could play up front towards the right, and then Lautaro's right footed. He could play a little bit off of that line, and he can cut in and do his thing. He's not gonna be the type of striker that can play up front and hold the line. That's why he couldn't play with Mota, because Thiago Mota wanted him to do that. Wanted him to play with his back to the defenders and grab the ball and hold on. He's not that kind of player. He's way better when he's running at people versus with people hanging on to him. He's always bitching. He's always like upset. He's always yelling at the ref. It's embarrassing to watch sometimes, you know. It's just not his style of play. And I think putting him in that position to try to do that while Juventus was trying to play with two wingers is what really ruined him, honestly, as a player. He's just not that type of forward. He's a very skillful guy. He's got good technique when he's put in the right positions, but he's just not being put in the right position. He's having to do too much physical work before he gets to the finish, and
maybe he hasn't worked under the right manager.
I agree.
Maybe he'll be different with Conte. Conte has an act for getting the most out of players.
Oh, he'll be totally different with Conte, but the problem is Juventus will not want to give him to Napoli, unless Napoli give Juve 30 million or something ridiculous. Because Napoli does that to Juve, right? Like if Juventus want a Napoli player, Napoli makes them pay out the ass for it, right? Like it's never cheap. So
I'm just saying, right? Late in the market, you don't want to keep him, right? Sounds like Milan, who were after them, maybe going after Boniface. So I would say
how somebody have a bunny
someone
face?
who has experience. He has he has experience in the Serie A, right? He has been successful in the Serie A, not with you, right? With that play style. But I feel under Conte, if anybody's gonna get him to be as close to what he was when he played for Fiorentina, it's probably Conte.
Right.
I would be,
don't
if
see
I were
that
Napoli,
happening.
I would be considering that.
I don't see that happening. I listen. Trust me when I say this. Juventus would rather give him to Milan for free than give him to Napoli. I'm sure of that.
We'll have to wait and see. That's going to be something interesting to kind of see play out here for the next 2
Yeah.
weeks.
But I know Conte knows he doesn't play that way. So if he's looking for a Lukaku replacement, he's not it. Vlahovic at most could do a false nine or something like that, but he's just not the number 9 type striker. He's just not. Like wish he was.
Now, for me, for Napoli, I'm going to be interested in seeing if now that they're going to be competing in the Champions League, if they're going to be able to maintain the same level throughout the entire season. Because I feel that last season they did get more rest. They did play fewer games than a lot of teams in Serie A. Right, that is definitely an advantage. I don't care what people may say.
Yeah.
It's definitely an advantage,
100%.
especially for veteran players.
Fewer injuries, you know, like it's everything. Yeah. It's gonna be difficult. And Conte, honestly, with Juve, didn't really do that well in the Champions League either. If you think about it, right? Like he had his problems. So I don't know if he's gotten better at that. There's nothing to tell us that he has, you know. So
Conte is kind of like from a coaching perspective, he's like the Ibrahimovic, right?
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
he's like one everywhere except the Champions League.
Exactly. It's just not his competition, obviously. And Igor Tudor, the coach of the next team we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about Juve. Has not won anything yet, but You know, he won the Trofeo. What was that friendly trophy called at Atalanta the other day? The
Hey, he's
Bertonini.
won the hearts and the souls of Juventini everywhere.
Well, I mean, he used to be a pretty solid player for Juve in in defense and the midfield. Back when he was playing under Marcello Lippi, um, and I believe he was part of that team that we saw play that time when we went to the stadium, which is actually the picture that's in this
Yeah,
background
yeah,
here.
yeah. You're
Uh,
just rubbing it in.
I
Me
had
wearing the Juventus gear. Yeah,
I had to do it, undercover brother.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, anyway, that wasn't a big match, but still, you went. The thing about Igor Tudor versus Thiago Motta is Thiago Motta was an Inter double agent, and he was there to ruin the team intentionally. Everybody
I was
knows.
about to say, hey,
Everyone
because you
knows.
said, oh, Tudor, you were saying Tudor was a good player for Juve, like that is gonna translate. I was like, well, Thiago Motta was a pretty good player for Inter. He won't help us win the triplete, so
He's a double agent.
uh, yeah,
He got in there and he did a good job of destroying Juve.
mission accomplished.
So yeah, so he did a good job. Anyway, the point is, Igor Tudor knows the culture. He understands like how you're supposed to behave when you go to Juve. You can't go into an interview and say
Yes, sir.
winning can't be an obsession. You know what I mean? Like because you're at Juve, you have to win. Like we're spending a lot of money. Like it's not. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of money. They let you do whatever you want to do. You're supposed to get results. Igor Tudor doesn't have the blessing of a 200 million euro market like Thiago Motta did. He has to deal with Juventus have to sell players before they can buy players. And they brought back Chico Conceição and they brought back and they, finished acquiring the various Kelly and Nico Gonzalez. And so this season Juventus is still paying for the players that they bought last year. And so that's why you haven't seen them spend a lot of money on new targets.
Yeah, but I think they've done a good job in filling in holes, right? And again, you have Bremer back. That's going to be huge defensively. Obviously, that's I think the most important piece
Yeah.
for them to get on the pitch
Yep.
is that leader from a defensive standpoint. To your point, I know for a fact that before he went down last season, you guys had conceded the least amount of goals, and I think if you had conceded any goals, it was probably like one. I think the midfield has always been good. The issues that you've had to use midfielders like McKennie to fill other holes on the pitch, but I think you had solid midfield options up front.
But we
Getting
still have
Bali
those. We still have
is
those
huge.
problems, though. If you think about it, I keep saying we, Juventus, still have those problems. Is if you think about the midfield, right now we have some players that, if you think about the formation that Igor Tudor is using, which is three defenders and two midfielders, like right in the center in front of the defense, and then you have the two wing backs who have to do the whole length of the pitch. So the whole length of the pitch. Then you have two attacking midfielders who are cutting inside, who are Yildiz and Conceição, and one actual striker. If you think about the way they're gonna play, Locatelli and Thuram is the duo that makes the most sense. Either that or Thuram and McKennie. But I don't think so. Thuram is gonna start no matter what. McKennie and Locatelli, they alternate the captain's armband, which I feel is kind of like saying Locatelli is the captain of the first team and McKennie is the captain of the second team. And basically, I don't think McKennie would take Locatelli's place because of Locatelli being Italian. Honestly, that's the only reason I can think of, because to me, McKennie is a way better overall player. Maybe positioning wise, Locatelli might be a little bit more solid, like as to keeping his position. But the one that I don't know what we would do with is Cope Miners, because right now Tudor is playing him there, like where Locatelli plays. Like in those midfield too. But I don't think Cope Miners is that type of player. It's not like a. You need muscles in that position. You need like somebody who can dominate the area because it's not a lot of players. You got two players. That's it. You know, somebody's gonna go forward to help the attack, and then who's gonna? So if you have Thuram and Locatelli, Locatelli stays a bit back. Thuram goes forward, right? If you have Thuram and McKennie, they both like to run up. So you gotta be a little bit more careful. And if Juve is gonna sign another midfielder, it has to be somebody, I feel, that can kind of hold the line, not somebody that is a light offensive player, like Cope Miners. You know, Cope Miners is a light offensive player. He's like more of an attacking minded midfielder than, you know,
Yeah.
somebody who could play a DMC. You know.
I think you're right about that. For me, in my opinion, if it was my decision, I would definitely start Thuram and McKennie, especially if Bremen is able to come back at the level he was before he got injured.
Yeah.
Because that means they can run up, right? When you have such a strong defensive anchor behind them, it gives you that ability to be able to do that every now and then. And I think McKennie would probably fall back and defend a little bit more, and he can do it, and let Thuram kind of be a little bit more creative, right, and attack minded. Because Locatelli, honestly, I think about it's up to what I've seen from Locatelli versus what I've seen from McKennie in the last couple of seasons at Juventus. And I think for me, Locatelli's game has gone a little bit down, where McKennie is actually been forced to play different positions he's not used to, and still has managed to do well when he plays. So
Yeah.
I gotta give him the edge because of that. If that was the option, Locatelli or McKennie.
Yeah, well, the last friendly
And America.
America. The last friendly Igor Tudor played Turam with Coal Miners to start. And then he put in what's his name? Locatelli, right, where Coal Miner was. And then I don't think McKennie only came in like the last maybe 5 minutes of the match. Towards the end. But I think McKennie should get more respect, honestly. Not because we're like in America that I'm saying that. It's just because he's the type of player like every coach would want on his team. It's like we need somebody to play here with like a certain level of quality. Because you can't just throw anybody at right back. You know, that's a very important position. Like if your right back sucks, the other team will find out in the first 5 minutes of the game, and they'll start murdering. Like they just kill you down that flank, right? So I think for what he could do, he should get more respect. He should get more money. He should get like a more solid position at the team. Otherwise, we should sell him to a team that's actually gonna value him, not like a. I think Juventus, like I feel the management in the last couple of years, they just lost respect for the players, for like the people who actually do things on the field, and they're just thinking with their pocketbooks, which is terrible. They haven't fixed the issue on the right flank. We only have Joao Mario. That's the only player who plays on the right. We have Nicolo Savona. He's injured now. But honestly, Nicolo Savona is not like a world-class right back. He's not. It's looking like Joao Mario is starting there. So Joao Mario on the right side, Cambiaso on the left. Cambiaso's solid. He's back to playing like he used to play. I don't know what happened last year. Last year was not. It wasn't him. He didn't even look like him. So I think if Juve have Di Gregorio healthy, because we don't have a backup keeper, and if Di Gregorio stays healthy, Perin is supposed to be leaving towards another team. But if we can keep Di Gregorio healthy and Cambiaso healthy, because we don't have a sub at left back either, until like Cabal returns, and Cabal looks more like a center back to me. Like he would probably be playing on that left center back position next to Bremer and then with Kalulu probably on the right side. Um, am I forgetting somebody? No, because there's Lloyd Kelly, Rugani. They're not starting. Like if I think if Cabal comes back, Kelly sits his ass down, and then Rugani is a sub, and then we have Kalulu and Bremer, and we should be good from a center back perspective. Like Juve have to sell basically like 7 players right now because we don't know what we're gonna do with them. We have Kostic as well, who could play on the left, but honestly, I don't feel like Kostic is at the level to contribute anything. We're just gonna have to keep him because he makes too much money for us to sell him to anyone. Nobody's gonna pay him what he makes. You know, it's a big problem. Like we just had some really bad years of management. But that's why I don't put Juve in the top 3. I think they have a lot of problems they gotta resolve, and if we get fourth, I'd be happy probably, because we don't look great.
I think you're being a typical Italian fan and being hard on your team.
Might be,
I
might
think
be, might be.
they'll do well. I think they'll do well this season. I think, to your point, depth is going to be very important and play a key role with so many games on the schedule for all
Yeah,
these teams. And right now, there's one team that has a lot of depth, which is Juve. Napoli, obviously, Lukaku being down, getting rid of Raspadori. Right, they got some stuff to figure
they
out.
lost a
Right,
little bit
and
there.
not a whole lot of time to figure it out.
You can't sleep on Milan. I don't think. The thing is,
Milan is interesting, but I
yeah,
think their defense still.
but they can beat
I don't
you
know if
on
they did
talent.
anything.
They can beat you with
They're
like
now.
Rafael Leao just eating up your
Yeah, but
defender.
Rafael Leao is kind of like a chick showing up to the club. It's like depending on who's the DJ playing that night, whether he's gonna show up or not.
I don't know that it's
Right?
gonna be like that with Allegri. It's been looking different. Can Allegri win without somebody like Pirlo in his midfield or Khedira and Pjanic? Because when he came back to Juve, he didn't have those guys and he couldn't win again. Like I mean,
Oh,
he
he does have Modric. I don't know how much he's gonna play, but
he's got old
he
Modric.
can.
He's not the same.
True,
He got
true,
ghost
but it's still
Modric.
Modric. That's probably
I
why he's
know.
just coming off the bench,
Yeah,
right?
it's
But
he's gonna make a
he's
difference.
gonna give them that. It's just gonna be for 25 to 35 minutes.
Yeah. And he can make an impact in that time. Like it's not Modric doesn't need a lot of time to hurt you. He just couple of quality plays and he's got it. I don't think.
But to your point, I think that's why they brought him in, right? Because he was looking for that kind of beat low type of player that can, at any given point, hit with one pass, seeing one play that nobody else sees, right?
Yeah,
He can completely change the game.
exactly. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that guy. Like he joined that team and then they got Pulisic, who's also very creative midfielder or like sort of attacking player, and then Rafael Leao obviously. And I don't know if they pick up
What do you think
Vlahovic,
about
it's scary.
Leao as a center forward?
He's not gonna play there when they pick up another 9.
That's where he's been playing though.
But he's not gonna play there when they pick up another 9. I can tell you that much. Like Allegri's not gonna do that.
Because it's kind of confusing because he's a winger, attacking winger, and he's playing up front, and he's wearing number 10. It's like, can
Yeah,
somebody tell me
he's
what's
got see.
going on?
So he's got the physical attributes to be able to play that way, but I don't think again it's like Vlahovic. That's not where he's supposed to be playing, based on his his skill set, right? Like his skill set is more of like a winger skill set.
Yeah,
Like
he's a left winger.
I'll beat you running, like I'll dribble you, and then I'll cut inside, shoot with my right foot. That's what I do.
Cabarcelia.
Yeah, basically, he wishes he was Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia, I think,
Yeah,
is
true.
a little more consistent, stronger, like cleaner
Keyword
technique.
consistent.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. That Leao, listen, I'm not saying that Leao obviously incredibly skilled, right? Huge talent, but we've been waiting for him to take that next step for the past 3 years. And he again, he should if he shows up, he can change the game. If he doesn't show up, it's like why even have
Yeah,
him
but
on the
I
pitch?
wouldn't blame him because Milan has just been garbage in the last couple of seasons, right? Like, and they've had managerial problems, which is like always impacts the way that players perform, right? Like it's hard. That's why I feel like players like McKennie deserve respect. It's like when there's a shitstorm going on in the club, you're still stepping up and showing up to play at a certain at a certain standard, you know. And I think in Milan, Milan has a lot of very talented players that I think that if they get the right guidance, like even in defense and like people like Tomori and people like that, like those people with the right guidance and the right manager, I think they could do really well. They could be very dangerous.
Listen, I think the midfield is not going to be so much of a problem as you think, right? Not only with Modric, but they have Ricci as well, right? I think he's going to be solid, but obviously it's going to be hard. You don't go from Reinders to like Ricci and not feel like at least a little bit of a decline. Especially with Reinders, how he's been playing at Man City, that he already looks like he's the best freaking player on the pitch.
Yeah. Reinders was a quality player, but I feel like Ricci is a different type of player where I feel Ricci is a little bit more defensive. Like so he's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more physical than Reinders. Reinders is way more technical. But I think Ricci could do a good job there as well. Like I'm not I think talents like Ricci need to be cultivated so that the Italian team can get back to where they need to go. So I really hope he does well. Actually, who do you see getting the Europa League positions? Because I feel like we agree that
I think
Inter,
there's gonna
Milan, and
be
Napoli, right? Like are the top four for sure, probably, right? Do you think
yeah.
Roma has a chance
I
of outdoing Milan?
I wanted to
Maybe.
talk about Roma, by the way, because I was just reading, and for anybody who doesn't know, I just read that Bailey got injured in his first training session
No,
at
really?
Roma.
Didn't they
So,
announced that signing yesterday, right?
yes,
Oh my
so that
god, dude.
sucks for the Giallorossi out there. Just
No
just read
way.
about that. That's a huge blow. I was actually excited to see him play in Serie A. Hopefully, it's nothing serious and he's not going to be out for long. But
That
yeah, that's
sucks.
something that I just read. Yep.
Wow, that's terrible, man.
Roma.
Terrible.
Listen, it's going to be interesting under Gasperini. Gasperini, it's a different type of coach. He's always been kind of or excelled at Atalanta, where let's be honest, he had not a whole lot of spend. They developed a lot of great talent. They had some great scouting, and were able to put solid teams together and be successful. Right?
Regardless of who's the
Um,
coach, they've done that the last 10 years at least, you know.
True, but he's been there for the better part of that.
5 years, I think.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but still, right? He's been able to be successful in losing and selling a lot of players, right? And still maintaining that kind of same level. But I think it's going to be those four teams at the top. Atalanta is going to struggle a little bit this season. I feel. Let's see what happens with the Ademola Lookman situation, which that may even have a bigger impact on
Yeah.
where they land in the table. I see Roma in there battling for that fifth spot. It's going to be interesting for me. One team that I enjoyed watching last season, and I'm looking forward to seeing them this season, is Como. I think Como surprised a lot of people and a lot of teams.
They're
Right,
going
they
to
got
be
a lot
interesting.
of great games. Right, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do this season, especially keeping Nico Paz, which I think was an awesome move for them. I think he'll continue to develop and
Yeah.
probably at
They
some
signed
point
Morata
go
as
back to
well,
Madrid.
I think. And they
Yep,
got,
which
yeah, it's an interesting pickup
which
for a
again
team that like that,
gonna
you
be
know.
a veteran, and again we know he's past his prime, but he's still gonna at least give you at least 13 to 14, 15 goals. But as far as those last couple of positions, again, I know Roma will probably be there. Atalanta gonna be interesting how they do. I want to see what Como do. Um, Fiorentina, right? I think they're going to be kind of mid-table, maybe battling for some of those positions, and then
Do you
it's up
think
in the air,
Fiorentina is
right?
not doesn't have a chance of getting to Europe this season? I think their team's looking not that bad. I mean, they keep Fagioli, They keep Dodo for now. They have Gozens on the left. Moise Kean and
Gosens
Zeko up
Gosen
front.
has been playing awesome.
Yeah, so I mean they look pretty. The only thing I'm not 100% about is like the defense. They have the Gea and go who's great, but then Viti Komutso and Ranieri. I don't know if they're gonna be enough, right? And I think they might be trying to buy somebody else, I guess, in D, but I don't know how much money Fiorentina have to spend if they're not selling any of these guys.
Or how much they're willing to spend, right, as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they do have a solid team, and then so those positions for the Europa League is probably gonna be Fiorentina, Lazio, Roma. I kind of agree that Como could be like a sleeper type team that could maybe get in there, but I don't know. Just I'm looking at the roster. I don't know if they got enough in the
Yeah, I
tank.
mean, no, and some of these additions like Zeko's, don't get me wrong, amazing, right? Really liked when he played for Inter, and obviously his time at Man City. I feel he's always been kind of underrated, but he's way past his prime, right? Coming from Fenerbahce, he'll probably get you a couple of goals, but I think Morata will do better than him over
No,
at
but
Como.
Zeko is at Fiorentina.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was talking
Oh,
about
you're
Fiorentina.
saying Morata's gonna do better at Como than Zeko at Fiorentina? Is what you're
Yeah,
saying? Okay, I got you.
if I had to put money down on it right now, I would definitely say that Morata is has a more contribution at Como than what Zeko's gonna have at Fiorentina.
Yeah, I
I may
don't
be
really
wrong
know how
because
much he's gonna play, but
Zeko is amazing, but for me, Morata and Fabregas' playing style, they know each other, right? There's a reason why, right? He's bringing him to Como.
yeah,
You put him behind some of the talented players that they have, some of those younger players, and to your point, he's going to be not only a great addition, but it's going to help those players get a lot better, a lot faster.
yeah. If you look at like another team like Lazio, they didn't really they changed their manager, so it's Maurizio Sarri now. But they didn't really make a lot of changes as far as the lineup is concerned. It's still like Guendouzi, Rovella, and Dele Bashiru in the middle. Like it's not. They haven't made any. Oh, actually, I don't think they can make any signings this season, can they? I think they're sanctioned, if I'm not mistaken. I might be.
I don't. Yeah, I think they haven't done anything.
They haven't really made any
I
moves.
think some players have left, right, and that's the issue, right? And that's what I'm saying. That there's probably going to be a big gap between the top four teams and kind of the rest of the field. Because I think there's clearly right. I think right. You and I don't agree on which team are going to be top three, right? But we agree which teams are going to be top four for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so.
And maybe Roma, right? Maybe they can battle for that. But I feel there's going to be a slight drop in Atalanta. Again, I feel if Como can get a little bit better, maybe they can be there for one of those European positions.
Yeah,
But Lazio, they're losing players, not adding any new talent.
yeah,
Right, are not able to fill some of the holes that they had from last season. It's tough. It's going to be a tough year for them.
yeah. On the other hand, Torino got a whole new strike force, right? They got Ngonj, Simeone, Abukal on their team. They added Anjorin in like the midfield. They did spend some money to get their team a little bit better. So that's another one that might be a sleeper, like you mentioned earlier. Like Torino might
Yeah.
do better than people think.
They were doing well last season before Sabata got injured. They've made some good signings. I think with Como, I would say that's another team to watch that I'm interested in watching and seeing how they do.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting season. I think it's going to be very interesting in the mid-table and in the bottom, right? And we haven't even touched on promoted teams, right? Teams that
yeah,
are just getting
exactly.
promoted and joining. Um, but I think top is kind of settled. And I think those are going to be the ones
Yeah,
battling for it. and they're gonna have the middle of the pack, and at the bottom, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
About 100%. Um, I think we are good to wrap up, right? The Serie A preview. Let's just do some.
All right, but before you do it, one
Yeah,
thing that
yeah,
we gotta do, right?
yeah.
Because I know match day one is just around the corner.
Yes.
We gotta give our
For
predictions
match
for
day
the
one.
season.
Okay, match day
So
one.
no, not from what match
Oh,
day
you mean
one,
for
for the
for the
entire
entire
season.
season? Okay, okay. So you
As of
wanna,
now, so we can come back to it.
yeah, you wanna go first, or do you want me to go first?
Mm. All right, I can go first. For this season, I think the Serie A title is probably gonna go to either Inter or Juve. I'm gonna say Inter for obvious reasons. But I think Juventus. I think you're wrong. I think Juventus are gonna do a lot better this season. I think they're gonna have a lot more continuity with Tudor at the helm. With some of the signings that they've done, getting Bremer back, I think they're gonna be and their depth compared to everybody else right now. I think they're gonna do very well over the marathon of a season that they're gonna have. Um, but I think again, Inter. If I had to say right now, which I do, I want to do it. Inter, Juventus, Napoli, Milan, and then because I am hoping and wishful, I want to say Como get to fifth.
Como is fifth, and who gets the
Those would be my top five
who
to
gets
start the season.
who gets the Conference League spot? Six. You gotta do six.
Roma.
Roma gets the conference. Okay, so mine are gonna be. I'm gonna pick Napoli to win the title because Conte is the manager and Conte always wins the league. So that's gonna be my pick to win the league. It's gonna be Conte with Napoli.
No Lukaku. No Lukaku.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I feel like
Yeah.
Aurelio De Laurentiis is gonna sign somebody before the end of the market, and Conte is gonna be fine without Lukaku for the first half of the season.
Lukman.
I hope it's not Vlahovic. That's all I'm saying. I hope it's not
I'm saying that
Vlahovic
I would
because
be gunning for him.
listen, dude, I can totally see a
He's
scenario.
gonna score 20 goals
That's the
under
thing.
Conte. He's gonna score
25 goals. He's gonna lead the league in scoring. Napoli are gonna win the Scudetto with like 8 points of distance. That would be my nightmare scenario. But based on how things have been going, I think that's probably the most likely scenario also. So I feel like Napoli are gonna make it. I think so. Right? That's if I had to choose today, I would say I will not bet against Conte being the manager. The only reason I don't think Inter can beat Napoli for the title race is because of Kivu. And I'm not saying that Kivu's not a capable manager. I'm just saying there's a lot of unknowns.
Kivu.
There's a lot of unknowns about how he would go about managing a team that is in the Champions League and like has those types of complexities as far as the scheduling. Even Conte struggles with it. So I feel like maybe there's an opening there because Napoli's gonna have to play in the Champions League, and maybe they're. I know defensively they are as deep as other teams. The midfield's looking good. I don't know about the attack now, but still, I wouldn't bet against Conte in a league. So I'm picking Napoli at first. I think they're gonna be first. I'm thinking Inter. I don't know if Inter are gonna be second or Milan are gonna be second. I feel like the manager has a big impact. So, but I think Inter have a better team, talent wise and balance wise and like consistency wise. So I'm gonna pick Inter second. I'm gonna say Milan are gonna be. It's hard to say that you were not gonna be third, but I think it's Allegri versus Tudor. I think he's just way better at managing a team throughout a whole season. I haven't really seen Tudor at play. He had 9 games last season and he had 2 draws. I don't know. He had just gotten there, but I hope I'm wrong. But I'm gonna say Milan's gonna be third, Juve's gonna be fourth, and then Wow, that one's difficult. If I had to pick between Roma and Fiorentina for that fifth spot, or Lazio. Lazio's got Sarri, so that's another thing to throw in there. I'm gonna pick Fiorentina because, well, actually no, Fiorentina also changed managers. So I don't know, that fifth spot is really tough, really tough. I just don't think it's gonna be Como because I don't think they have the quality in the roster. I'm gonna do a crazy thing and say Torino is gonna be fifth, and then Roma and Fiorentina are gonna battle it out for
Mm.
the Conference League spot. That's gonna be my
I
pick.
think that's interesting, right? Because it's I think your perspective was a lot heavier on the manager,
Yes.
which you're right. It has a huge impact,
Yeah.
right? Versus me, how I'm thinking about it, because I think of nowadays how grueling the schedule is for these teams, right? I'm kind of leaning more towards giving that more weight on my side. That's why I feel like Inter and Juve are have the most depth right now in Serie A, and that's why I feel more than likely if they can stay healthy, right, they'll probably be there at the end with Napoli. But Napoli, Lukaku down, I don't feel they have the same depth at those two teams. Milan, I got a lot of question marks, right? So I would
It's
put
still
them
11
towards
days left in the market, bro. So
true.
let's see.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Hopefully, a defender for us.
Yeah.
There's
Do
a
you
little bit
think
more depth
we're
there.
probably gonna have to do these predictions again after the market's over? I think, but let's see.
Maybe, man, but that's a good part about it. We can see, hey, based on what's gone down in the past week or so, has your opinion changed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, we could go all the way to the end, and I could go back and say, "This, I knew it. Right? This is exactly what I predicted." Or you could say that, or we could both be full of shit, and it could be completely different. But that's
I
the beauty of football.
Yeah,
That's why we love the sport. That's why we're fans, and that's why we make these types of videos,
yeah.
right? Because we love talking about it. We love looking forward. We love looking back, and we love sharing it with you.
For me, as a UF fan, I hope I'm wrong.
Hey, again, typical Italian fan. You have your team fourth, man. I feel it's gonna be tough for Inter to get it, but I feel after the end of last season, which was an awesome season, granted we didn't win anything, but I think we got to the final. But after getting demolished by PSG in the final, I know that some players like Lautaro have a different type of motivation coming into the season. I just hope that is contagious. It spreads within everybody else in the locker room, and they'll come back guns blazing, and make a good run for it.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Hopefully, Tariti.
Well, that wraps up the first episode of Serie
Yes,
Addicts. You
sir.
want to take it away, bro?
Yeah, looking forward to the season. Obviously, let us know what you guys think about all our predictions, right? Anything that we shared, right? Obviously, if you have your top three, top five looks a lot different, let us know. If we missed any key signings, right, in the market, right? Because we probably missed it, right? We're doing this off the cuff,
We just went
right? This
over
is
it.
kind of the trial, right, before the season gets started. But let us know what you want to see. If you have any recommendations, right? If you want us to touch on any topics, right, just let us know. We'll keep just banging these out. This is how we have fun, right? So we just wanted to put this out there for you guys to enjoy with us. So please let us know what you think and tune into the next episode. And with that, my name is Marco Romano. I
And I'm
appreciate you
Tito.
guys sticking around
Subscribe and hit the like button. Boop, boop, boop.
right there.
Peace out.
Appreciate it. Peace, everybody.